Greetings and salutations, accounting technology watchers, and welcome to another Accountech Bytes. I've had a manic couple of days on the show floor at Accountech in London. Thank you ever so much to everyone who watches the video that came and found me to discuss everything, and thank you to all the vendors I harassed for more details. So, yeah, for a more in-depth discussion of some of the trends and the themes from the show, I spoke to Accounting Web's editor Richard Hattersley on our podcast, which you can find wherever you get your podcasts by searching for Accounting Web. But I'm going to use the rest of this to run through some of the main stories, talk through some of the trends, and cover some of the other news as well from the show. So, first up, and the story that led the email this week was around Iris and their expansion of their Elements cloud platform to broaden the reach, I guess, to a wider cross-section, make it more available for larger firms, those with more complex clients, so new compliance, more integration, more workflow solutions. What was interesting, it's not just Iris, but some of the other desktop players as well, seem to be heading towards this kind of hybrid by design approach. So for those who were happy with their tax and accounts production products on the desktop, but wanted a bit more sort of cloud around the sides with things like document management or workflows, then they could have a bit of both. Some were using their own tools to do this, like Iris here, and others, there seemed to be a sort of developing ecosystem around them. So FYI, for example, Cloud Document Management, they rolled out integrations with Iris and CCH Central, the database there. So that, again, document management, automation, that type of thing. Carbon, Pixie, lots of others doing similar things. Summertech, the Carpenter Box spin-off I spoke to. So yeah, a very interesting sort of shift in the direction of travel there, perhaps. Capium, they launched a charity accounts package at the moment. So I think they tweaked their bookkeeping engine for charities, but as I say, also offering tax and accounts production services at the moment, just for unincorporated charities registered with the Charity Commission, but I think they're likely to grow that over time. And Bright, I'll be covering this in slightly more detail in next week's, but I thought it was worth mentioning. So they've taken their BTC, they acquired BTC last year, the tax and accounts production product, and they've used the cloud version of BTC as the basis for Bright Tax, their new tax and accounts production engine in the cloud. So worth a watch there, and obviously the sort of wider Bright brand with Accountancy Manager, Bright Pay, and various others sort of getting closer. They've announced a couple of other tools as well that I'll look to cover in a bit more depth next week. And I also will be discussing one of the main buzzwords on the show floor at Accountech, so artificial intelligence and how it's being used. I've mentioned Carbon and Pixie already, but there were a couple of other interesting new fledglings in the accounting software game, plus a couple of the heavyweights sort of leveraging AI. I think QuickBooks, I had a little snippet of conversation in the podcast with Nick Williams talking about their 700 AI patents and data scientist team. But on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, John Toon and Billy McLaughlin, the northern powerhouse of accounting software thought leadership, are going to be joining me to talk about the AI software race in accountancy and a few of the other trends as well. I've mentioned the sort of hybrid by design there, more integrated solutions, lots more besides. So if you can join us on Tuesday, that would be fantastic. Speaking of AI, a bit of perhaps legislative direction of travel here, that the EU are looking at the use of AI. So obviously, this FT article, apologies for the paywall here, but as I link to this and all the other stories in this video will be available in the description. So yeah, the FT have focused on facial recognition based on that, but I think one of the interesting points from our perspective is that they would like them to publish summaries of copyrighted data that's used for training purposes. So instead of having this fairly opaque sort of black box of what is actually being used to train these models, we'd get a bit more transparency over that. And a really good article in ICAW Insights about this, the implications for tax practitioners it's pegged on. And Ian Pay, who I saw at the show, he sort of talks about the fact that while it may seem there's a clear set of rules to follow, there are ambiguities, nuances, and a huge range of other factors. So it's worth bearing that in mind. And Caroline, the peerless Caroline Miskin from Tax Faculty, also, and I think this is a really important question, she talks about the fact that the answers provided by AI needs to be explainable. You can't go into a black box and then come out again and we can't see the workings out. So Dion Seymour wrote for us about an HMRC consultation concerning the simplifying of decentralized finance taxation, an incredibly complex area. Dion very helpfully provides a quick explanation, sort of likening it to the activity of a bank, and looking at whether this will actually provide the clarity and certainty that the industry needs. Staying in the cryptocurrency world, the Payments Association spoke to Chris Middleton over at Diginomica, talking about Bitcoin, so the UK's central bank digital currency, and sort of asking whether it will simplify payments, reduce transaction cost, or just add to financial complexity. So if you're interested in that area, do check that out. And congratulations to Diginomica on their 10th birthday. What's next? Expend. So Spend and Expense Management Platform. They have launched a sort of Card Connect tool. So that is real-time integration between Visa business card transactions, sort of bringing them in, and instead of sort of branded corporate cards, this allows expensive data to be processed and ready for review by managers and finance teams. And as he said here, the data passed straight to company accounts via their accounting software in what they think is a first. So congratulations to them. Sage have bought US construction platform Corcon, following the acquisition of Lockstep. So this is an American-based business, and I think will continue to sort of integrate primarily with their Intact product, I think. But interesting times. Sage still on the acquisition trail. Speaking of Sage, their former CEO Stephen Kelly has been lined up to head up WAN Disco. This is the Sheffield software company who, were found to have made up £15 million worth of revenue and 115 million of sales last year. CEO and CFO stepped down in April after investor pressure, including investor Stephen Kelly. But as he says himself, he's looking forward to being part of the turnaround, and he shared an article about himself, calling himself the tech grandee. I can only hope one day to be a tech grandee myself, and you can help me do so by signing up to my technology email with you every Thursday. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.